As a high-level show jumper and three-day eventer in his native Germany, Hinnick Hoopy bridges the divide between general equestrian training and preparing elite racehorses. We thought we'd take a look behind the scenes at Hinnick's Hannover Lodge as he prepares a draft for the 2020 Inglis ready-to-race sale. Hinnick, well, it's a great operation you have here at Wilberforce in New South Wales, Hannover Lodge. Before we talk about your ready-to-race program with these lovely two-year-olds, a bit of your background. You competed for Germany from a very young age as a show jumper.
Yeah, Caroline, I was very lucky and fortunate. My parents were very supportive, and my older brother as well, so we always had horses. And I started show jumping when I was about 10 years old, and obviously riding way before then. And yeah, luckily I had a bit of ability, and thanks to the support from my family, I got yeah, very good in a very short time, I suppose. And show jumping was sort of a passion, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, therefore I had a few really good years where I could compete in show jumping and German championships and things like that.
Yeah, fantastic. And then you sort of got away from the horses for a while and sort of did some other things before getting back into it.
Yeah, obviously my parents having their own business, my mum being a teacher back then, decided I had to at least learn a trade and maybe go to university and have something to fall back onto, because earning a living with horses is very difficult in Germany or in Europe in general. The equestrian sport is big there, not so much the racing, but at the end of the day it's very hard to earn a living, and the risk of injury is very big. So if you do get injured, you need something to fall back onto. And I suppose they tried to guide me away from the horses a bit, but at the end of the day that didn't work out very well for them. So I ended up in Australia and yeah, starting to earn my living with horses here.
So the business itself, you're not just sort of, you know, pre-training these breeze-up horses for a ready-to-race sale. It's a great business you've built, and you have some of the really great people in racing supporting you with the breaking in and pre-training, you know, people such as Peter Snowden.
Yeah, I'm very lucky actually. I mean, after I started the business here, Peter contacted me about sort of 6 months later and asked if I could take on some horses. And he's been supporting me very well ever since. Also, one of his main clients, Asia Bloodstock and Marie Yoshida and Alan Ho, they had a great relationship with me when I was working at another place before, and they started sending all their horses here, so I was very lucky. They buy very good, well-bred horses, and they have a very good management system in place, which really helps to do a good job. You're obviously working with professionals. You can do everything that's right on the horse and beyond that, and also obviously they expect you to do a great job, which again, it helps. You have good material to work with and very good people.
And I guess a lot of it is about training these horses in a more holistic way, I suppose you'd say. You're not just trying to train these horses, you know, the way old style breaking in horses and just, you know, banging them around the track and getting them going. There's a lot. Explain to us, you were on a couple of beautifully bred horses for Marie Yoshida, Alan Ho a bit earlier this morning, expensive yearlings. What are you trying to impart to them that will help them get to the racetrack?
You break them in basic, but then and desensitize them. I had to adjust my breaking in a little bit as well. At the end of the day, you're breaking in a racehorse, a very powerful athlete. So you try to educate them like an equestrian horse. You want to try to help them to understand their aids and also to understand how to carry themselves properly so they can build the right muscle, they can be successful and well throughout their preparation. And at the same time, obviously, you have to get them used to the general surroundings around the track, and such as barrier training, working in pairs next to each other. Everything at the farm gets broken in with ponies these days, just to get them used to other horses. So there's a bit of desensitization there as well, but at the same time we try to take that a bit further and try to get the horses to have a good mouth, a good attitude and a good basic ground education.
And muscles. I mean, these are, you know, if you think about an Olympic gymnast or swimmer or tennis player or whoever it is in the sporting world as a human, you need to start working on the muscles and their whole frame very early on too, don't you?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, at the end of the day, if the horse starts carrying itself in a wrong way, I'd like to say, from the early stages, then obviously that can cause issues. There's so much focus on soundness, and the team around everyone is so important. Let's say the vets who are working for the trainers in town come out here and look at the same horses. Any person who's successful in the racing industry is very good at managing people as well as managing their business. So it's all who you surround yourself with. I'm very fortunate. I've got a really good friend of mine, Romany Lee, on side, who basically runs most of my business as well as helps with the draft. And then my partner, Jade Finley, who's a very successful Olympic level eventer. She has a very good eye for a horse, and she also is very good in the way she deals with them. And both of them really help me to place the right strapper or right groom to the horse as well, because at the end of the day, when we go to the sale, someone has to look after them. And I feel the chemistry has to be right.
Well, you have a really interesting range of 2-year-olds for the Inglis Ready to Race sale. Via Star Turn, Deep Field, Pride of Dubai, Extravagant, Stern, there's a winning Rupert, you know, a really interesting mix of proven and you know, some newer sires too.
I suppose that happens because we try to buy the individual from an athleticism point of view. So we look at them at the exterior and whether it's an athletic type of horse and we think it could be suitable for a sale. But also some clients send horses to us that feel they're not going to be ready for the early yearling sales, and we do end up with horses that are middle-distance horses or staying type horses as well, which is used to be unusual for the ready-to-race sale. But I feel that's a good way where we're heading there.
You have a range of clients as well. Tell me about, you know, who some of these horses actually belong to.
Well, for example, Upper Bloodstock, those guys are always buying very well in Australia. We've got a lovely Cebu colt from their draft out of a Rustic Rosser. That's a lovely little colt. I mean, he's a speed horse. They actually weren't going to send him through a sale, and I suggested and asked them if we could take him onto our draft because I really liked the type of horse he was, and he's such a well-tempered horse, just like his dad was. I was fortunate enough to do a bit of work with him. And then also we've got Duncan Ramage on the team this year, which is very good. We've got an Odyssey Moon together, which is a lovely horse out of a mare called Swish, which is a more than ready mare. He's just a terrific horse. Actually, a lot of people at the yearling sales commented on what a lovely horse he was and that we got lucky with him. So he's been just progressing really nicely. And he braced up in a very great time as well.
And a lot of these horses have really gone on through the preparation. I mean, this gorgeous winning Rupert that you bought from Kingstar Farm, Matthew Samblin, and he's just a beautiful horse now, isn't he?
Oh, he's gorgeous. Yeah, he's out of a mare called Easy to Read, who's an Costa de Lago mare, and he's just got her temperament. He's just relaxed, laid back, takes everything into his stride, and he sort of seemed to be a bit underdone at the yearling sales, and he had a few little nigglies by the look of it, and we were hoping he's going to be a big improver, and that's exactly what he did for us. He braced up an amazing time. I believe it was 10.49. Matthew ended up supporting us with that horse as well, and I think it was a very good move because yeah, we're very happy and very glad to have him in the draft, and he's just been improving consistently. At the end of the day, as I said, it comes down to you want to produce a very good athlete, you want to produce a good horse that's ready to race. No one expects anymore that that horse is actually ready to go to the track next week and go to a trial and possibly go in a race. There's not many horses that make it to the early 2-year-old trials in September or even race in the first year. Realistically, if you can buy a good, well-educated horse, that's what you should expect from that sale.